I've told you the story about the one time that I did ketamine, right?
No. You've done something I haven't? Whoa.
Okay, I didn't even mean to. I've definitely told you this
in
story.
The bathroom, and you wound up in the bathroom. Okay.
Yes. Okay, but I'll retell that story.
Yeah, do it.
Just in case. Just in case we have new listeners that haven't heard it.
Two Jews, both big and tall, no subject too small for the good guys. A Mother's Dream premium podcast team, make it your weekly routine. It's a Good Guys. And if you don't give us 5 stars, what are you nuts? What are you nuts? Yeah, we're the good guys, we're not the great guys. We're just so good guys. Whoa.
Mazel, morons, welcome back to the Good Guys podcast. There's a torrential downpour here in Santa Monica, California, and I soaked my shoes, so I'm in my little socky cutie socks.
Is it cold because you walked in wearing a soaking wet sweatshirt? Is it cold there right now, or it's just rainy?
It's chilly, Papa. It's chilly and rainy.
Oof, I'm sorry to hear.
55? 50?
Yeah, 55's chilly. 55, you should be wearing something. You should have been wearing a raincoat. You didn't have an umbrella?
I had a raincoat too. I got absolutely soaked, and I wore my Oklahoma State University merch because when I do these college gigs, sometimes they give me stuff, sometimes they don't. And I'm looking at you, colleges that don't. You know who you are.
That's pretty weird. Like, why wouldn't they? They don't want you to rep their merch. Give this man a sweatshirt, okay? Give it to him.
It's soaked, but this is a Champion sweatshirt, and it is cozy, baby. Cozy.
Is it that fleece on the inside? It's nice. It's nice and warm. I know that exact. Ooh, I can feel it like a warm hug. I know what that feels like.
It's like
okay,
warm hug from the dad you never met, me.
It's fantastic.
This might be hearsay. Is Fleece recycled bottles?
I have no fucking clue. How would I know that? I have a better question. It must be, okay? It must be. That said, how do you know that? Where did you hear that? And if you have to ask, is Fleece recycled bottles? Of course the answer is yes. That's not random. It is, right?
Yeah, dog. A lot of Fleece is made from recycled plastic bottles, but not all of it. Most fleece is made from polyester. Get rid of that statement, which is a plastic fiber. When brands say recycled fleece, they use plastic bottles that are collected, clean, shredded, melted into pellets, spun into polyester thread.
Got it. So fleece is plastic.
I'm wearing a 24 ounce.
You're wearing a 40 pack of Kirkland.
This was formerly a Pepsi bottle.
Oh, man. I wonder, we have the great Dr. Craig Conover on the podcast. He's coming in soon. So excited. Maybe we should ask him about the effects of microplastic being worn in a fleece.
Totally. And our audience, of course, they're going to think it's Craig Conover from Southern Charm, who is a big, great, wonderful part of the pod. But no, this is an even different Craig Conover.
And fascinatingly enough, this Craig Conover is also from South Carolina. He's also born in Delaware, okay? But he is an MD, okay? A real frickin' doctor.
Yeah.
And he's been Josh's doctor. You're wondering, you're looking at Josh. Every day, Josh just waltzes on the podcast with another 9th muscle on his muscles, whatever the hell these things are. And we're like, God, you look great. Yeah, it's because he's being dosed by Dr. Craig Conover. And not only dosed, coached, right? He's your life coach.
My body should be like a NASCAR, okay? Right? And it should just have the patches of who is my sponsor, Dr. Craig Conover, Row.co, Trauma from Nickelodeon. You know what I mean? Just all over.
That is so funny. If we had sponsor patches of people that guide us. Wow.
What would yours be?
Big Turmeric, whoever, like Nature's Bounty.
Zizal. Barney Greengrass. The Sturgeon King.
You just have Zyrtec in the middle with a big cross.
2nd Avenue Deli.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
That's funny because I think Manischewitz Social reached out to me the other day and I said, you don't need a social media, Manischewitz.
Was it the food brand or the wine brand? Food.
It was food.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've done a nice rebrand, though. Their stuff looks good. The thing is, I don't think they need it. They don't need a social media. If you know, you know. Okay? It's honestly cooler that way. Either you know, or you're probably not going to be interested. If you know, you know. And if you know, you know.
What was your first sip of alcohol? Was it Manischewitz wine at Shabbat?
Probably. I have to assume that it was wine.
For sure, right?
Even though, but my parents were never big drinkers. It wasn't like that's a great question. It had to have been wine. And then my second sip was 15 years old. 15 years old. I was that kid at the party walking around saying, alcohol is bad for you. You don't want to be drinking that. I had so many friends. And I fell asleep at a party because I was sober. And my best friend at the time poured beer in my mouth. And I woke up with beer in my mouth. And that was my drink.
Wow.
That was my first drink, beer. Yep.
God, you had great parents. I mean.
I did. I'm very, Bruce and Ava are the best. We'll talk about it on the next episode, but they went to see Jared Freed in New York. And oh my God, they did the funniest thing. It's a cliffhanger though. Okay. It's a cliffhanger. Because we have Dr. Conover, Josh. No. We got to let him in. He's knocking. I hear him. He's knocking.
No, it's very exciting. Dr. Conover is coming on. And I was going to ask you something really interesting about drinking and boozing as a baby, but I don't think did I lose it? I'm so hyped on Dr. Conover, and now Bruce and Ava, they're going and sing. This is what I want to ask you really quick. Some fun Judaism. Okay, so, at Shabbat dinners and any kind of religious dinners that we do something called the kiddush, the Borei Peri Hagafen, where we honor the vine, the grape of the vine. Yes? Is that?
Yes.
Now, growing up, as a kid at Shabbat dinner, the master of the house, the father, would overflow the great cup of wine, and then he takes a sip and passes it around. First question, why do they overflow it? And secondly, did they use wine or grape juice at your house? So were the kids getting a little sip of the vine?
Yeah, so not everybody overflows the cup of wine. I think that might be a custom. And also not everybody always drinks from the same cup. It depends on the household. Some of them will take their cup, they'll drink it, and then they'll pour them into this magical contraption. Have you seen one of these where you pour it down the middle and it spouts out into 8 different little shot glasses? It's genius. It is genius. Honestly, they should have them in the freaking club, and you should be pouring vodka in the middle, and then you have 8 shots. So you don't have these waitresses that are just pouring individual shots. It's nonsense. The Jews made it. They made a solution.
Yes.
My parents always did grape juice. I was never ever drinking wine, but I probably would have been better off drinking wine, because then I just chugged the entire thing at Kedem, which had 450,000 grams of sugar. I loved grape juice. It was delicious. So good. And maybe if I just had a little sip of wine, I wouldn't have been so fat.
My kids do mocktails almost every night. So they'll do 90%.
Oh, that's fun.
It's so fun because they'll do 90% sparkling water and then just a 10% hit of juice. And I keep the ketamine on tap, baby. And they are, between the fact that they have such a taste for seltzer and that I'm doing the ketamine, I'm microdosing Judaism into these kids.
You are, and ketamine is so unbelievably delicious. It's so good. You know what else is? I'm sure that they've had this. I'm sure that you've had this. Have you ever mixed a little, Josh, Diet Sprite with a little bit of Blue Powerade?
Down.
This is the most delicious. It's kind of a mocktail, right? You go 90% Diet Sprite, 10% Blue Powerade. This drink, Josh, outrageous.
Do you think if you mix Powerade and Gatorade, you'd come?
I don't know. I'm down to try.
It's a lot of aid. You know what I'm saying?
Are you Powerade or Gatorade?
I'm a Gatorade man.
I think I'm Powerade.
You are a Pepsi brand man.
I like a blue Powerade, I think is better than a blue Gatorade.
So you're a blue guy.
I'm big time blue. BTB. Big time blue. And I'm very anti-orange anything. Miss me on orange. Okay, no orange Gatorade, no orange Powerade. I'll take a fruit punch. No problem. If you're out of the blue or out of the glacier ice, you could throw a fruit punch my way. The lemon also, lemon lime, it builds up a little reflux. I don't need that. But the orange, you can miss me. You're a fruit punch guy?
I love fruit punch, but I'm a big Gatorade guy. The fruit punch, you just have to be careful of the red because it does stain the mouth. My wife loves a lemon lime. I like some of the newer, more current flavors, like a glacier cherry, which it's a white cherry.
I've never had a glacier cherry.
Or the frost. The frost flavor.
Sounds delicious.
When I was in the height of my using and total cliche drinking and boozing and doing all of alcohol's cousins and brothers and sisters, the devil's dandruff, the booger sugar. I would pack myself a lunch because I was not eating anything else. And so this was like my main sustenance. And I think it kept me alive. And B, it's the food I could probably eat every day. I would get 2 pieces of Ezekiel bread, like a 1/4 pound of shaved turkey, cheddar cheese, mayo, mustard. That was like my lunch. And I would do like a 16-ounce Gatorade and a cereal bar from Trader Joe's, like a blueberry or a raspberry cereal bar. That was basically all I ate for 2 years. 1 meal a day, that was the meal.
Dream meal.
I love it.
Like
so yummy.
Fantastic. So yummy. And you, of course, had that Hellman's mayo in there. What do you guys, you call it best foods over there, which is a shanda.
No, Hellman. We're Hellman's here.
You have Hellman's.
We're Hellman's.
You have Hellman's.
All right, let's get to the great Craig Conover. You guys are going to love it, and we will see you after.
This episode of the Good Guys Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Mazel in Maine. Folks, we are always trying to look good, but feel even better. You know my favorite pants. I've shown you these beautiful pants. They're from Mazel in Maine. Fantastic. I look like I'm wearing suit pants, but really there's a nice stretchy, there's some good give to these pants because, folks, we should be comfortable, okay, while still looking polished. And most people, they make you choose, okay? Whether it's dress shirts, whether it's pants, whether it's shorts, they make you choose. Folks, Mazel in Maine believes that you shouldn't have to choose because it makes classic menswear with performance fabrics, so it's effortless to look sharp but feel great, which is amazing. We should be feeling great. Why should we be uncomfortable? We shouldn't be uncomfortable. I should be comfortable, and you should think that I'm uncomfortable. Mazel in Maine actually invented the performance fabric dress shirt over 10 years ago, and since then they've perfected it with modern fabrics. Mazel in Maine shirts and pants look refined, yet they're stretchy, lightweight, moisture-wicking, wrinkle-resistant, and completely machine washable. No ironing or dry cleaning needed. When you put on their clothes, you'll feel the difference instantly. Professional style that's actually comfortable, whether you're in the office, on the road, or even out on the golf course. Folks, Mazel in Maine. If you have a man in your life, okay, or you are the man in your life, you need comfortable clothing. You need stretchy pants. If your pants have no give, honestly, I don't trust you. I don't want to be your friend. Your pants should have give. Give a little. Give a little. Is that a song? I don't think so. Right now, Mazel in Maine is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mizeninmaine.com. Promo code GoodGuys20. That's spelled Mizzen, M-I-Z-Z-E-N, and Maine, M-A-I-N. .com, promo code GoodGuys20 for 20% off. mizeninmaine.com, promo code GoodGuys20. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find Mazel in Maine stores in select states. This episode of the Good Guys Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Good Wipes. Folks, you know we love Good Wipes here at the Good Guys Podcast because we take huge dumps. Oh my God, Ben, what are you nuts? This is an ad read. No, the Good Guys are cool with it. They're cool with it because, folks, listen to me. Toilet paper, so yesterday. Like Hillary Duff. Can we say her? So yesterday. I hope we don't get sued. Look, so yesterday, okay? Because toilet paper is simply smearing that stuff all around your you-know-where. We need to clean it. You need to clean it, and you should clean it with Good Wipes because Good Wipes is simply better. We're talking bigger. We're talking moisture. We're talking amazing scents. I almost said flavors. Do not eat these, okay? Do not eat these. These are flushable, folks. Actually flushable. How often have you grabbed a wipe and all of a sudden you put it down and it's clogged? You don't need anything clogged. We're not trying to make more work for you. It's supposed to be better work. Work harder. You know what I'm saying? Work less hard, not harder. You know what I'm saying. Made for sensitive skin. This stuff is fantastic. I mentioned the variety of scents. We're talking rosewater, shea cocoa, lavender, botanical bliss, and they just launched a fragrance-free version in case you don't like the fragrances. I do. I like the fragrances, but look, if you don't like them, they launched something fragrance-free that's just as soft as ever. All of their wipes are so incredibly soft and extra large for your extra large booty. That's right, if you listen to this show, you're probably like me and you have a big butt. Who knows? Folks, grab Good Wipes for free at Walmart so you can upgrade your restroom routine. Buy any 1, 2, or 3-pack in Walmart or on walmart.com. Text them your receipt and get reimbursed almost immediately. For more details, head to goodwipes.com/goodguys. Again, that's goodwipes.com/goodguys to snag a free pack of Good Wipes from Walmart.
Dr. Conover, will you give the Good Guys audience just a quick background of your pedigree? I'm like a Jewish mother over here. I'm cavelling over your achievements.
Well, I appreciate that. Sure. I'm, family medicine trained here in Charleston, South Carolina. I opened my practice in 2006. It's evolved into a wellness practice. And so we use all the kind of high-tech popular tools like peptides and NAD and bioidentical hormones, especially lab testing, stem cells, exosomes. Fortunately for me, I've been doing this longer than most. So part of my practice is we see patients from all over the world who come to our practice. And then I also train physicians and practices from all over the world just because I enjoy it. We do things differently. And it's very positive. We really enjoy our patient base. And, we try to make an impact where we can.
Well, I think this is a good place to start. So in 2020, I was doing the landmark television show, Turner and Hooch. I don't talk about it enough, really. And the great Ben Greenfield, who's going to come on the podcast, another brilliant guy in the health and wellness space. I reached out to him and I said, look, I'm playing the lead of this show. I want to look good. I want to look jacked. I don't, at the time I was 32, I feel like I'm not sure I'm ready to get on the TRT testosterone train, a little bit of the roids, shooting up in the back of a Gold's Gym. But I would like to optimize. I would like a little help. And he said, talk to Dr. Craig Conover about peptides. So that's what started my journey. I feel like they're so hot right now. Will you tell us about peptides?
Yeah, I think they're super hot. I think 2025 was like the year of peptides. It like exploded. In simple terms, they're just, all naturally occurring molecules, chains of amino acids that we put together in novel combinations. They're small chains, so they're short molecules. I think of them as, like signaling molecules. Very, very safe. Empirically, we use a lot of them with patients because the safety profile is so nice. Nothing's perfect, but by and large, they're very, very safe. And by and large, they're really effective for most people to help with sleep, recovery, cognitive function, body composition, burning fat, building muscle, all the things people want.
So I've been on, I didn't realize until recently that it was a peptide. I've been on GLP-1s for the last 3 years. I've switched. I've gone from Ozempic to one that I think was made in the back of somebody's truck to now Zepbound, which I found the most effective. And that's just a peptide, right? That is just...
That is, yeah, exactly.
It's just probably now the most mainstream popular peptide would be a GLP-1.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Those have taken off in the last 5 years, and that's become like the number one selling drug in the United States, maybe the world, but certainly the United States are the GLP-1s.
They're amazing. I'm over Zoom. I probably look svelte. Let me tell you, if we met 3 years ago, you'd be like, who is this ballooned whale? Okay. And that's all because these are miracle drugs. They really are. And I'd love to hear your POV because they do get, I think, a bad rep often. You mentioned how safe peptides are. And again, not the ones that are maybe administered not by somebody who should or created not by somebody who should, but these real marquee drugs, they're safe and effective long term?
For sure. Here's the problem, or a problem in this space, is we don't have a lot of clinical studies to back that up, because unless it's a pharmaceutical, there's no one going to spend the time, resources, and money on a peptide, for example. So we're using animal-based and smaller physiology studies. And then for me, I'm a clinician. So I'm observing my patients. I think I've overseen more peptide treatments than anyone on the planet. And so I have a lot of, breadth in seeing, when we administer these peptides, what happens, how to use them appropriately, how to dose them, when to dose them, who to dose them for. In terms of the GLP-1s, I think they have gotten a bad rap. For many flavors, some people say, hey, it's a shortcut, you're cheating if you do it, which doesn't make sense to me. And if it was so easy to lose weight and maintain weight, why are there 16 new diets every year? Why are we a country that's more obese than in shape? It's because it's hard, and keeping up with things like that are really challenging. And I just think we should be more supportive. Like, who doesn't feel better when they look better? Like, why is that a bad thing?
And feel better lighter. Like, I'm now it's funny, I've always loved basketball. I could never make my high school basketball team. I was too fat. Now in my early 30s, I'm in a great pickup run. All of the older Jewish guys have started to taper off, but I'm now at my slimmest, Dr. Conover. So I'm flying all over the court. And let me tell you, this is it. It's just you feel so much better when you're lighter. No question. So why shouldn't everybody have that? Look at Josh. Josh he lost it the right way, and he's still fucking around with these because they're so great.
Yeah, I know, and I think people can overdo it, right? And I think that you do have to be careful. The way we do it in my practice is we start at a low dose, we go slowly, we take our time. There's no rush or urgency to get people to the sweet spot. We don't overdo it. We're very conservative. Where a lot of practices and physicians are really shotgunning, and this is where people get Ozempic face, lose muscle mass. They look like gaunt. They don't look healthy. Our goal is not to be thin. Our goal is to be healthy.
Yeah.
So it's a different outlook.
Titrating, Ben. Titration.
It makes sense. And everybody that I've ever heard, they're like, oh, I'm so nauseous. It's like, what dose did they start you on? Like, sure, you'll experience a little bit of nausea, but if you have zero appetite, everybody laughs. They're like, Ben, you're on Zepbound, but you just ate 2 pieces of cheesecake. It's like, yeah, I'm on Zepbound that works for me, which means that I think daily I'm eating maybe 300 less calories a day than I would. But over 3 years, that's been 70 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, we like people to lose, 1 pound or so or less a week. We think that that's safe. When people are losing more than that, we run into trouble.
Yeah.
So we can be conservative, take our time.
Makes sense.
And obviously you can't predict the future, Dr. Conover, but my gut instinct as someone who's battled and had their own food journey since I was, 7, 8 years old, is my joke is always, oh, well, GLPs make you not hungry. And I always say, I never ate because I was hungry. Like, I ate because I love it. And I know that these are supposed to be things that perhaps you're not on for life. My guess is over time, people are going to need to be on them for life. Does it look like that's going to be a possibility, or right now we just don't know what those super long-term effects look like?
I think both. I think you're right. I think it's playing out that people want to stay on them. And because they're so long-acting, though, we can change up the frequency. So, once patients have lost the, weight they want to lose, hit their goal weight, in our practice, we can talk about maybe you don't need to do it every week. Maybe you can dial down the dosage and do it once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks or once a month. So you're not doing as much, but because it's so long acting, it's staying in your system. But I also think so far the long term, again, it's more shorter term results seem very safe. We know we've learned some things. I mean, I just spoke to a patient who spoke to their doctor about, we were concerned about pancreatic issues with these peptides. And this was a GI specialist who said, we've debunked that now. So wow. I think as we use them, we're learning that they're very anti-inflammatory, looking like they help cognitively. So maybe helping with things like dementia, neurologic function. Again, I think it's too early to tell, but I think you're right. I think people are going to want to stay on them and feel good. And as long as they're being monitored, people aren't going to overdo it. That's the key, I think.
So I think everyone and their mother saw this Wegovy ad, this new Wegovy pill. They spent $1 million or more than that on DJ Khaled. You've seen him in the boxing ring. Josh, have you seen this commercial where they're hawking the new pill? Does that work? I just
sure.
Yeah.
I don't think so yet. I don't think so. I think what we're going to find out is probably it's not going to work as well, right? Like we, in my practice, we're firm believers in bioavailability. That's why we've done, IV nutrition forever. injecting peptides, injecting NAD, because if you inject it, you bypass the stomach, you're getting it into the system. Anytime you swallow anything, you're going to lose absorption. So I think it's going to be a challenge. We'll see, though. I mean, it's going to be easier if people swallow a pill.
Much easier. And I feel like the people who are afraid, there's probably a word for afraid of needles. But I feel like this is now the miracle pill that to me seems like it just can't. I just don't understand how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be the same mechanism. I think they're going to put something in the tablet to protect it from the stomach breaking it down. Hopefully it gets into the small intestine where it starts to be digested, broken down, then absorbed. I think what's coming, actually, what I've heard is we're going to be moving from once a week shots to potentially once a month shots to once a quarter shots.
Wow.
To, like extending that so people can do it less but have equal results.
Would they be open to putting it into a salt form so you could snort it at the club?
I'm sure people figured that out, Josh. Yes.
That'd be hot.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And by the club, I mean Weight Watchers.
You just go under the bridge and all these junkies they just have Zepbound in their spoons.
Oh, God. What now, Dr. Conover? They dropped the GLP-1, then they went to a GLP-2 with tirzepatide and the Mounjaro Zepbound, and now coming on the horizon. I texted you about it 6 months ago. You said, "Josh, we're not there yet," but I got my ear to the fat streets. Retatrutide. Yeah. GLP-3, your boy Andrew Huberman has been saying it's going to be the game changer of all game changers. What is that going to look like?
I'm not sure, because we haven't used it yet because it's still research grade. So it's not officially approved for use. Lots of people are still able to access it from a research company. We don't use research chemicals. But what I've heard is I don't think it's going to be the end all be all. I've heard from several different reports it can cause increased heart rate, increased blood pressure. So I think we're going to find out. I'm not as hopeful that it's the silver bullet. I'm a little bit more cynical that for us, we like tirzepatide or Mounjaro the best. It seems to be the cleanest and easiest to use. So we'll stick with that.
The one positive I heard was that it protects your muscles, that they're seeing much less muscle loss with that one.
Yeah, but I mean, the way we dose tirzepatide, even semaglutide, we don't get muscle wasting because we start low, go slowly, that we warm people up. I think that happened initially where people were using bigger dosages, so they're going to lose weight, both fat and muscle, in larger quantities up front, and that's where that fear and that reality came from. When you go slowly and you take your time, then you're going to make sure that people work out, eat plenty of protein, do all the things, resistance training. I don't think we don't see that in our patients that they're losing muscle. So I'm not worried about that.
So what have you seen in a Mounjaro versus a Zepbound that's what you prescribe? At one point I was on Ozempic. I missed the Mounjaro journey. And then I went to Zepbound, which has been very helpful. I am definitely, you have one bad day a week. I'm not going to lie. The injection day is not a good day. You're tired, you're moody. I don't recall that necessarily from Ozempic, but it's very, very effective. I'm losing more weight, I think, on Zepbound than I was. But why Mounjaro?
We like it. It seems to, for simple reasons, less side effects, meaning less nausea, less constipation, less heartburn, and faster to weight loss. And so I just think it's cleaner. Now, I do have some people who, we go back and forth. If they plateau, say on tirzepatide, we may want to switch them to semaglutide or Ozempic and vice versa. And I do think some people who started on semaglutide like feeling, I know this sounds weird, but they like feeling some of the more harsher effects to be like, this is working.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Without side effects, how do you know if it's working? I understand.
A little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a huge female fan base, and what I'm hearing on, the group chats with my wife, her dear friend Libby, and the gals are talking about the copper peptide, the GHK for skin, for hair. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so GHK copper, and it has this kind of blue tint to it, which is the copper. It's grew up in the wound healing space, and then we were using it for years and years and years for skin rejuvenation. So there's a quality to it that it helps with, skin texture, skin tone, helping to increase collagen, helping the scalp and hair. I think that's all real. It also has a DNA repair effect. In October of 2023, the FDA banned us from our compounding pharmacies from being able to inject it. And so we haven't been able to prescribe it since that time. We can make it into a topical cream, which still can work, but not nearly as well as when people inject it. It's, I think though, what I've seen, because I get this question almost every day, if I start copper peptide, do I have to continue Botox? I've heard I can stop Botox completely. That's not true. Like, I think that's going too far. Like, peptides are great, but I don't think they're the end all be all,
Ben, please give we have the great doctor here. Talk about, if I may share with him, like,
please.
You have battled a bit of brain fog, a little bit of this,
yes.
a little bit of that.
Yes.
Why don't you have a private moment with him and see what the great man can do for you?
So a couple of things. The first is I did want you to fact check my findings. Okay, we're gonna start. With, and I don't know if you'll be able to answer this or not. Does Head and Shoulders can Head and Shoulders dandruff shampoo cause baldness?
I don't know about cause. Yeah,
no.
I don't.
With repeat use, we don't know. We're not sure.
What's repeat? Are you using it like multiple times a day? Or
Let's say that we used it twice a day for 6 months, thinking that we were hacking the system, Dr. Conover. That how can I possibly get dandruff if I'm using dandruff shampoo? And why wouldn't I just have dandruff shampoo all the time, right? It makes sense logically, unless, of course, the dandruff shampoo is actually causing baldness when you use it at that regularity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to be, I'm going to take your word that happened to you. So then I'm going to say the Head and Shoulders twice a day for 6 months contributed to your baldness.
Excellent. Okay. You mentioned before peptides for cognition, though. And Josh and I are always trying to get our brains right. Okay? Brain mouth. We podcast for a living. It's very important that our brains are working.
Lucidity.
What is the best peptide for cognition, and what do you recommend?
There's different peptides, but actually, to sidestep that question, the best compound, I think, is methylene blue.
Okay.
Which you may have heard about, which, interesting history, was the first prescribed medicine in the United States in the late 1800s.
Wow.
It's this blue dye, and it works at the level of the mitochondria, similar to NAD, although they work at a different hub. But I found, personally and professionally, most people who take methylene blue, you can take it orally, you can take it as a capsule, sublingually, you get a nice cognitive burst. So great for a pre-workout, great for, before a podcast, great for studying, whatever. People really like methylene blue. Very safe as well.
So this isn't something, though, that you take every day?
Well, I think because it lasts in your system. So what I tell my patients, for most of them, when it's appropriate, a lot of times 3 times a week is enough.
Wow.
Josh, we should try. Have you heard of methylene blue, Josh? Have you tried it?
I've taken the methylene blue. I'm also a big NAD fan, which I've taken in injection from Dr. Conover, or I've also done the patches from Ion Layer, which are great. I do, and sort of the consequence or one of the side effects of NAD, especially when you get it through IV, is you get stomach discomfort. And for me, it's interesting, right? Because it's not nausea, and it feels like gas pain to me, like where it's just kind of, I got a tummy ache, and so sometimes it just, I'm like, I'm over this. But when I want to tough it out, I find it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think that's a good statement. I think it's across the board. People get like butterflies, feels like their stomach's flipping upside down a bit. Everyone gets that with NAD. We're not exactly sure why that happens. But NAD, like methylene blue, both work at the level of the mitochondria to increase cellular energy, and seem, both. I think methylene blue more so than NAD helps cognitively, but both are working on positive metrics for the nervous system, for sure.
And does creatine help with cognition?
I mean, some people. I think the thing with creatine, for people to know, is it's best dissolved in hot liquids or hot water. So, I put some coffee in the morning. It's tasteless. You could mix it in tea, but then it's going to be absorbed in the liquid better, get into your system easier. Some people will say it's great for jet lag. Some people will say, hey, it's great for them thinking clearly. I can't really tell the difference. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I was hot on it for like a couple of weeks. That I loved it for my brain. And then, I started to think, maybe my brain's fine with that. Whenever I go off all of my supplements and I go down to nothing, I feel better. So, so all right, methylene blue, Josh. We're adding methylene blue. I'm gonna try that. What else? What else should I try?
Well, this was, I would love to hear, Dr. Conover, what you think, because this was a bit of contention between Ben and I, but he's done amazing and dropped all this weight and looks incredible, was, when he was really into the supplements, like, I think a lot about when Gary Brecka came into Dana White's life, the CEO of UFC, and he really felt like this guy had changed his life health-wise. And basically, he said the core components were he made him go keto. He started to really work out regularly. He dropped a bunch of weight. And then the other part was red light therapy, hydrogenized water, all these things that were like crazy expensive and different. My thought is, and what I want to say to everyone is, if you get on a great diet and you work out every day, that's 95%. Maybe you don't have to spend the $100,000 on the red light bed, right? Like, isn't it? Okay.
I totally agree. And I think even if you then get even more specific for a modified keto diet, because most people, just simply want to eat too much food, right? If people can learn to put the fork down, that gets us most of the way there. But two, if we then get specific about what we're eating, it's probably eating too much carbs and simple carbs and sugar. So if you go to a keto diet where you're burning fats and not sugar, most people seem to have an easier time losing weight, having more energy. It seems like good fuel for the brain, the nervous system. I think that alone gets you most of the way there, and then figuring out how to move. They say the best workout's the one you do consistently, right? Same thing with diet. I agree with you. I think that the interesting part, though, is most people aren't able to do that, right? Like, it's not complicated, but they just don't. They know, but they just don't.
I did the keto diet. I coined keto season. It was a big part of my life. Maybe, Josh, 4 months I was on keto. I gave myself mercury poisoning, so that was like a sad ending to it because I was eating so much raw fish. But look, it was amazing. It's not sustainable. At least for me, it wasn't sustainable. It was like any other crash diet where it works, you lose weight because you're eating less calories, and there's just so much raw salmon one could eat. So I probably ended up consuming less calories. It wasn't sustainable. But you brought up, I think, the magic idea, which is, can you get in the gym and can you find something and can you do it? And the answer for me is not really. Like sometimes I get in these grooves where I'll go for 6 months or I'll have a trainer and I'll do it. But can we make, is there something that we can take the same way that I've made it so that I'm not hungry anymore by having a GLP-1? Is there a peptide that could make your brain want to go to the gym? Is that plausible?
It may not be a peptide. I mean, it may be, now we're getting into the arena of like testosterone.
Yeah.
Tapping into dopamine. And that's a real thing where people lose motivation to want to be fit or want to move. For people, particularly men who are low in testosterone, and then you put them on testosterone replacement therapy, that's a common denominator, is like, now I want to work out again. Now I'm interested in taking care of myself in ways that they weren't.
Yeah, because for me, it was always just like, can you fit into the clothes? That might sound vain, but like now I fit into the clothes. And like, yeah. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2". I don't need to be Muscles McGee, but I'd like a little more, but the consistency is just not there for me. It's not.
Well, maybe to think about it in terms, just to throw this your way, are you able to do everything you want to do, right? Like if you had to like carry luggage, can you do it easily? Can you take the luggage and put it above your head? Can you lift heavy things? Can you run fast?
I cannot lift the luggage above my head. I can't, but I don't know when
So looking at like everyday life, and as you plan out your day, your week, your month, that's another way to look at physical fitness. This guy worked out with doing kettlebell sweats. We talk about just being ready as opposed to being fit. What about just being ready? Just a different way of looking at it.
That's fair. Because anybody who's been morbidly obese has tree trunk legs. Like I can deadlift, and I don't go to the gym, but I can deadlift a nice number when I go to the gym because my legs are so big. But it's my upper body that I can't even do a push-up.
If they want to have a peptide that motivates you to go to the gym, they should create a peptide with Chuck Norris's voice, and it's in your brain. It just goes, "You can do it, buddy." Now, This is the word on the streets. Shout out our dear friend of the podcast, Kid David. Hot off the presses right now. Not that I have any interest. They're saying that taking a quarter or a microdose of Viagra every day for men can be a heart healthy option because it helps with blood pressure. Any thoughts?
I think it's probably more of Cialis or tadalafil versus Viagra. Viagra is like generation one. Tadalafil is a little bit further down. And you will get a vasodilating effect from Viagra. It's a little bit stronger than like tadalafil, Cialis. Cialis also seems to have some unique properties for men, helps to keep the prostate in check. So your prostate doesn't get too enlarged, and that's a consequence of getting older. And two, it's also a mitochondrial enhancer. Mitochondria, just like NAD and methylene blue, are working on the battery of the cell. So I do agree. I mean, we have a lot of male patients who take a small dose of tadalafil every, whether it's daily or a couple times a week. I totally agree with that.
Can you say that again? And I'm going to send this to my wife. No, I'm kidding.
Josh, should I ask, speaking of erection, should I ask Dr. Conover about the side effects of Mucinex XD and why I'm amongst the 0.01%?
You can.
I took Mucinex XD. I had a very bad cold, and I woke up in the middle of the night with a 3-hour erection.
Was it the D, the Sudafed component?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vasoconstrictor. Yeah.
So, what's up with that? Why does that happen? And what does it mean if you're amongst the 1% or the 0.01% that have these reactions? Like, is that consistent? Yeah, I'm special. Definitely special. That's for sure.
That's all. Okay. No, I mean, so if you take anything systemically, it's going to affect everything, right? So if you take Sudafed, which is a vasoconstrictor, you're taking it, or people are taking it to constrict the, nasal passages, so you're not as congested. Well, it's also going to work on other blood vessels in your body. That makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Wow.
And you're special.
And I'm special.
Don't we know it? So last question, what are you bullish on and what are you bearish on in the current health landscape? What are you excited about over the next year or two? And what are you like, I think we've done that enough. It hasn't quite lived up to the hype.
I'm excited about figuring out how to use exosomes. Exosomes, similar to stem cells, but they're non-cellular, so they're non-DNA cells. They're like advanced peptides. And figuring out how to use that best with clients and patients, whether that's, there's a variety of ways people can use it, whether it's intravenously or injecting, and making sure we're, staying compliant and doing it the right way. But I think from a academic perspective, that's really interesting. In terms of things, I don't think there's any one thing that kind of grows out of style. I think it's just kind of meeting the patient where they are and understanding what they need. Some people, they need a push and motivation just to eat better. Some people need to figure out how to work out more consistently. And then some people are more advanced and they're training for a movie and they need to be dialed in completely, or they're a professional athlete, you know what I mean? And they need tons of strength or endurance. And we're just trying to figure out that for them. So,
yeah. Listen, Ben, when I tell you, and I remember this distinctly, I was on sort of this muscle gaining fat loss peptide mix, tesamorelin, ipamorelin. This was in 2020 and BPC 157 at the time when you could prescribe it. This was back in 2020 that I got it from Dr. Conover. I remember my gym buddies, they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, you couldn't handle it, brother.
You say that to me too when I go to the gym. What are you doing?
When you're on the bands.
Yeah.
Dr. Conover, where can people find you? What would you like them to go to? Plug away, please.
I mean, it's very straightforward. Our website's, Conover Wellness, so Koniver wellness.com. Same thing on Instagram. We just enjoy kind of helping people from all different walks of life figure things out, optimize. Again, we've been doing it a long time, so we've got a lot of experience doing this. And but I love talking about these things. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
It's going to be the worst thing he ever agreed to do, but Josh, connect me and Dr. Conover, just in case.
Oh, I will.
Methylene blue, maybe a little tea. You never know. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Okay?
I like working with special people.
Well, that's me. So.
And I think it's just really, sorry, last question, but a lot of people are buying peptides off the internet. And to your point, Dr. Conover, you say we don't use research grade. Obviously, you're an MD. You're able to work with certified compounding pharmacies. Talk about the importance of that, because I think people can really risk hurting themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people don't know. And so it's confusing for the public because, that we are limited as providers and physicians what we can prescribe. And that's based on what the compounding pharmacies can use to compound into. And that list has shrunk due to the FDA oversight, which happens with things like this is the job of the FDA. But there's a lot of providers and physicians who are getting these peptides from research labs where the vials will say not for human use. And that's like a loophole where that they're not regulated. And because they're not regulated, we don't know what's in them. I'm not going to say it's all bad. I'm not going to say it's all dangerous, but this is the gray market. It's kind of the wild, wild west where both people are selling things, they don't know what's in it, and then people are buying things. But as an individual, they can go on their own accord to these different websites, purchase it. There's going to be no recommendations on dosing, how to mix it or anything, but there's a lot of information on the internet that people can find. But I always advocate working with a provider who's experienced, who can help guide you, and then who is only working with compounding pharmacies to make sure the quality is the very best. I think what's confusing for a lot of people is they think that these compounding pharmacies are like working out of a garage or a side alley, and that's just not true. They are all regulated. They're all inspected by the Board of Pharmacies in every state, by the FDA. High regulation, and they're done very well. So
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much, Dr. Conover.
Of course. No, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it very much. Love talking about this stuff.
Oh my God, what a guy. Are you kidding me?
Best.
Dr. Conover and Josh. Okay, look, I know I say a couple of outlandish things sometimes on this podcast, but Josh, got two checks from Dr. Conover. One on the dandruff shampoo, even though I think he was just agreeing with me. He was using me as his case study.
Not his lane.
I still think he gave it to me. Okay? Head and Shoulders causes dandruff. Boom. Zyrtec causes brain fog. Boom. That's it.
It's a wrap.
That's it. And we're going to take methylene blue, and I might be taking testosterone. So if you see hair starting to grow on my forehead, you know who to blame.
I'm excited for you that you are now going to have Craig Conover in your DMs or in your texts.
I can't thank you enough. This is a wonderful connection that you have made. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
This is why Josh looks so good.
Thank you.
He's been he mentions it from time to time. He's like, yeah, Dr. Conover this, Dr. Conover that. But I didn't realize they go deep. They go really deep. And so, look, if he's made you the man that you are today, I'm excited to see what he can do for me.
God bless you. God bless. Should we get
and maybe I can do something for him. What can I do for him?
Maybe he likes an Aperol Spritz in a can.
Yeah, I think that's... I'm just going to make him a booze hound. I'm going to send him all my stuff. We'll see what he likes.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll love Spritz Society. Maybe he'll put some in the office.
Yeah, maybe you can get some of those, I don't know if he does this, but you can get some of those Special K nose sprays, the ketamine nose sprays. Man, you could start self-dosing. I'm just kidding. He doesn't do that. Oh, man.
I've told you the story about the one time that I did ketamine, right?
No.
You've
done something I haven't?
Story.
Whoa.
Okay, I didn't even mean to. I've definitely told you this
in
story.
The bathroom, and you wound up in the bathroom. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, but I'll retell that story.
Yeah, do it.
Just in case. Just in case we have new listeners that haven't heard it. But this is probably, I don't know, at least 10 years ago. And I'm at a table with one friend, 4 people that I don't know. And this guy pulls out, it looks like a pack of gum, Josh. Okay, you know when you just like push it out and you can pop out the pieces, there's like the aluminum foil, and he pops out a piece and he puts it in his mouth. And I'm like, what's that? He's like, it's ketamine. I get prescribed it for my back. I love it. It's amazing. It makes me feel good. It's a really low dose. I barely feel it. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you should try it. Like, you want to try it? It's no big deal at all. Like, I don't even feel it. I'm like, sure. Like, if it was prescribed to you by a doctor and it's sitting in a beautiful package, I'm going to trust it. I took it. I went to the bathroom. I came back an hour and a half later. I must have fallen asleep on the toilet. Everybody was gone.
Whoa.
everybody was gone. I don't remember anything. I remember nothing. And in retrospect, of course he didn't feel it. He's a fucking drug addict. The guy's just like casually at a meal just popping ketamine because his back hurts. Go get an injection or have an Advil. What are you, nuts?
Heavy.
So yeah, that's heavy. That's the one time I accidentally did ketamine. It wasn't accidental. That's the one time I did ketamine, but I didn't realize, Josh, okay? I thought that this was no big deal. Let me tell you, folks, from experience, big deal.
He said Special K. I said I've got my bowl and spoon. You know?
Such a good cereal, by the way, those dehydrated strawberries.
Delish. My kids love them.
They're delicious. They're delicious. Are they covered in sugar?
No, I'm a big cereal guy. I know some people are anti-cereal, but I'm down to clown with cereal. Love it. Still eat it.
I love cereal too. The strawberries, though. Those delicious strawberries. You just think they're regular dehydrated strawberries.
I think they might, add a little razzle-dazzle to the flakes. I think those aren't, they're not straight flakes. I think you're getting maybe a little sugar in there, but overall a delish cereal and pretty calorie conscious.
Cereal is so good. Delicious.
You won't find me being anti-cereal.
I used to get Reese's Puffs back in my heyday. I would get a huge bowl, like one where you're marinating like 4 rib steaks. And I would fill it with Reese's Puffs and probably an entire container of milk. And I would just go to town, Josh, on a Saturday morning watching Hannah Montana. Oh my God, the dream.
Okay, cut to your parents in the kitchen. Your dad speaking to your mom. Ava, he took the metal mixing bowls and he filled it with cereal again. Ava, we need to do, he's watching his gay shows and eating 2,000 calories. We need to do something, Ava. He's too far gone.
He's watching his gay shows. Oh my God, that's funny. So good. You have a What Are You Nuts?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Our What Are You Nuts moment of the week are our gripes with people, places, and things both big and tall. Whatever's sticking in your craw. Let me go find mine. I like to write them down during the week.
I'll go first, Josh. Look, we got to keep it in theme with Dr. Conover. My What Are You Nuts is the fact that I see something on TikTok from somebody that's unverified talking about some random supplement, and I think it's going to solve all my problems. It's not, okay? It's absolutely not. We have some wonderful sponsors that sell some wonderful researched supplements. For example, a Momentous, okay? I feel great going on Momentous's website and shopping, but if you hear about something, which they're all over TikTok, I know I bought saffron from some guru. I never even took it. What are you, nuts? Like, what am I, nuts? It's too much, Josh. It's too much. I'm going to talk to Dr. Conover. I'm going to get right. That's it, okay? What am I, nuts?
My What Are You Nuts is, parents really create problems for themselves. You grew up going to school in New York like I did, but I also lived in Florida and California. So a lot of schools have these things called bungalows. Parents hate bungalows. And it means that if they can't add on to the school, because naturally 10, 20, 30 years later, there's just been a big population increase. So they need more teachers, more schoolrooms. So they build these big bungalows in open space, either sometimes they're in the parking lot, sometimes they're in the schoolyard, whatever. These things are beautiful. I was just looking at the ones at my kids' school the other day. They're air conditioned. They got electricity. These are rooms. They're just standalone. They're not in sheds. Don't be so anti-bungalow, parents. What are you, nuts? You should hear the threads of these parents. They're learning in a bungalow. Bungalows are sick. We're pro-bungalow here.
As long as there's AC, who gives a rat's ass? Okay? Who cares? I'm with you. I'm pro-bungalow.
Yeah.
Build me a bungalow.
I'm pro-bungholio, which is Beavis and Butthead.
Sure.
Do you remember that?
Pro-bungholio.
Do you remember that?
I never got into Beavis and Butthead.
It was I am bungholio. I need teepee for my bunghole. I'm bungholio. It was so good. Shout out Mike Judge. Genius.
Oh my God, Josh, this episode is 5 stars, okay? Otherwise, what are you, nuts? Stop listening to the show. If you didn't think this episode was 5 stars, you should stop listening to the show.
Bad.
That said, if you enjoyed it, which I'm sure you did, rate us 5 stars because once a week, twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, we're going to be reading a beautiful review, but only 5-star reviews. No 4s, no 3s, no 2s, no 1s, just 5 stars. Okay, Josh, we got a good 5-star review?
We really have a great 5-star review, and it's from Gillum1030. I never wanted to be Jewish so bad in my life. I've been a Christian obsessed with Yiddish words and Jewish traditions for a long time, and listening to Benny and Joshi on Mondays and Thursdays makes me love them even more. I've even started a list of Yiddish words that I didn't know thanks to you two. Hilarious, fun to listen to, and also you have me humming your theme song on this Monday morning at work. Excited for many more years of listening to you and many more morons to come. BHBH, Jordan, not the river.
But you see, Josh, look, that's a beautiful review. Don't you feel better? I feel better.
We all do.
We need more positivity, folks. That's what we're given. Doses of positivity. Mondays and Thursdays, folks. We will see you next time.